Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So this one is pretty wild. I've enjoyed watching MMA as I've gotten older. When I was young, I was a boxing fan. Mike Tyson was pretty much my introduction into boxing. I remember, ordering the pay-per-view with my dad, watched Mike Tyson fight, and then it's over in 30 seconds and you're just like, what? He just dominated so hard. It is hard to appreciate because you almost felt ripped off because it didn't last very long. As the UFC hit the scene in the 90s, I was always a big fan of that because I was a wrestler as a young kid and always wondered, what's the future for a wrestler? What would a professional wrestler go into? Not WWF style, but somebody that actually, the sport, wrestling, as some people call it, became intrigued with the UFC in that was somewhat of a future for a wrestler, beyond just Olympic glory. And then as Dana White took over the UFC, I grew to become a huge fan, right? Once Evander Holyfield and a few of those guys of that era all retired, boxing had just gone to the wayside, right? Boxing just was not nearly as exciting or as good of an experience as ordering a UFC event that would be stacked with 5-10 fights where most of them would actually be very competitive, interesting fights, even if you had never heard of the guys that were fighting. And it's even grown to the point where now, not only have women introduced themselves into the sport, their fights are becoming more and more interesting as well. An interesting thing about boxing is this guy, Jake Paul, has actually brought my interest back to boxing a little bit. I try to watch as many of his fights as I can. I missed the last couple. They're not advertised as good as they should be, honestly, because you don't hear about him unless you're kind of in his circles. Or don't follow the guy as a social media influencer. He seems like a dude that's just dedicated himself to boxing, getting better at boxing, and I'm curious to see how far it can go. But with all that long intro said, let me show you this article here from New York Post. Mike Tyson at 57 is going to face Jake Paul at 27 in a stunning boxing match streaming on Netflix. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to reactivate my Netflix. Hopefully, Stranger Things will be back by then too. And then I can just double whammy that one and get them both watched and cancel it with a quickness. First of all, seeing Mike Tyson get back in the ring is something that I never thought I would see again. So I'm 100% there for that alone. I don't care who he's fighting. But then it's awesome to me that he's actually going to fight Jake Paul. Tyson is going to square off against YouTube return boxing rebel rouser Jake Paul on July 20th at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. In an event that will air live on Netflix, the streaming giant announced Thursday morning. The fight ostensibly will be an exhibition, though the specifics are unclear. Yeah, you can call it an exhibition, but for a fact Jake Paul wants to knock out Mike Tyson, or at least beat Mike Tyson. And if I remember correctly, there's only two guys in the world in history that can claim that, and it's Buster Douglas and Evander Holyfield. I think Mike Tyson has been jonesing to get back in the ring and punch somebody for 30 years. So hopefully he has his stamina up and he doesn't just putter out. But man, this could be awesome. I did not see this coming. Tyson, the legendary former heavyweight champion, will be 58 at the time of the fight. Hasn't had an official bout since June 11th, 2005. Okay, so it's only been 19 years, but it still is so long. He did face Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition bout in 2020 in Los Angeles on a card that featured Paul viciously knocking out former Knicks guard Nate Robinson at the second round. Oh, so I didn't know that Tyson actually fought Roy Jones Jr. Somehow missed that. Maybe Roy Jones Jr. can also say that he's beat Mike Tyson. I'm not sure who won that, but he's grown significantly as a boxer over the years, so it'll be a lot of fun to see what the will and ambition of a kid can do with the experience and aptitude of a GOAT, Tyson said. It's a full circle moment and will be beyond thrilling to watch, as I started him on his boxing journey on the undercard of my fight with Roy Jones, and now I plan to finish him. Tyson is an animal, man. He's one of those guys. You can't just get in the ring against him and not expect him to go all out. He's like Trump in that aspect, They're dogs, and you step in the cage or you step in the ring, and they're not only gonna demolish you they've been looking for that fight. They've been waiting for that fight, right? So the provocative Paul, 27, has drawn more attention to boxing in recent years as he has had a handful of fights against former MMA star like Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley twice, and Ben Askren. When he first faced pro boxer and Tommy Fury and brother of Tyson Fury, Paul suffered his first loss. My sights are set on becoming a world champion, and now I have a chance to prove myself against the greatest heavyweight champion ever, the baddest man on the planet, and the most dangerous boxer of all time, Paul said in a statement. This will be the fight of a lifetime. So, yeah, Jake Paul's going to take this serious. He wants to knock Mike Tyson out, and Mike Tyson has been itching to punch somebody in the face for years. For decades. I don't think that itch will ever be satisfied. I don't think there's a scratch that can ever satisfy that itch for Mr. Tyson there. And I love it. I'm here for it. And I kind of hope they beat the crap out of each other for a little bit and Tyson doesn't just mop him up in 30 seconds. And I also hope that Tyson doesn't just putter out after 30 seconds because after all, he's going to be 58 years old. And it's a rather taxing event to fight somebody. So are you looking forward to this fight? Does it matter at all to you? And is it worth reactivating the Netflix for a month to check it out? Other than that, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.